Alright, so with the release of the Transforming Tech Super Saiyan Vegeta, we do have the update to my top 10 TURs tier list here, and there are actually a couple of changes in this tier list compared to the last time as well, so I feel like it was appropriate to make an update. Along with that, the next time I'll make a tier list for this is probably gonna be on like the 4th or 5th, because there's not gonna be another Dokkan Fest TUR until April 1st. The April Fool's Dokkan Fest does release every time on April 1st, right? And there won't be another Dokkan Fest TUR out. Brand new one anyways. For next week, though, I will have an easy A TUR tier list because we're going to get Super Saiyan 3 Goku here, and we're going to get S tier Super Vegeta here. So I'll include those in my updated easy A TUR tier list, and, you know, I'm going to include Super Easy A's in there for now until we get, like, a lot of Super Easy A's, and I might make them separate, I might not. It depends. Let me know what you guys think, if I should, in the future, make a Super Easy A separate than Easy A's, but they're kind of... At the end of the day, they're an easy character, right? Alright, without further ado, let's hop right into this again. Vegeta, very powerful character, and let's start from the bottom, actually. So, I want to clarify. Rose and Kale potentially could be on this list. I think Rose would make this list. Kale, I'm not 100% sure. Because on Global, you guys do have additional characters that I have been unable to use myself. STR Kefla, Tech Khalifa's Easy A, STR Kelly's. I have not been able to take these guys' difficult content in battles. Rose is just a global only character right now. Currently, it is exclusive to the global version. This Rose, only global players would have been able to summon for him right now. And honestly, I'm telling y'all, I feel like Rose just might come out in July, on JP. I genuinely think Rose is going to be in July on JP. And we'll see. I think STR Super Vegeta's Easy details are potentially tonight. I'm gonna make a video on it today as well. There's lots to record, but yeah, dude. It is kind of crazy that Rose might be not out for a few months in JP. It'd be funny if he doesn't even make the list once he comes on JP. It'd be kind of crazy, but okay. Let's start with our number 10 spot, which is Piccolo and Gohan. So again, Piccolo and Gohan, I think they are a useful character. They have the multi-turn support. Supporting bottom master and disciple is also really good right now, but this is a crazy ability. 3-turn, 30% attack and defense and 1 key support is really great. My issue with them is that they don't have reduction in the 3rd slot. I feel like they should have been giving damage reduction in the 3rd slot. I know. Or this should have been HP restricted, right? You know, but I see why they're not. But it's because of this support buff, but you should have just had a 40% reduction, if we're being honest, right? And they actually probably could have been a lot higher on the list. I like them because they have this nice revive, and the revival is still able to have use on certain setups. And, you know, even getting the revive early will activate Blue Evolution Vegeta, UI Goku's, revive passives on those teams. But I think the only thing that hurts this character is that, you know, ideally you want to save that revive for at the end of the fight. And then if you get a turn at the end of the fight where a revive's already used and this guy can't revive and you're stuck in this form, it'll be very scary for this Gohan or Piccolo, right? For sure. If you don't have the potential to, you know, use some of these other mechanics, right? Which, on the bright side of this bottom master and disciple team, you have Beast Gohan, target skill. You know, if you make superheroes in there, you have Gogeta Blue's target skill. You could mix in Orange Piccolo's giant form. That could be a little helpful. But even against normals, this character can struggle sometimes. So that's the only thing. This Kid Gohan, though, if you do get him out and you have a Goku in the team, which I would say is common to have a Goku there on the team, this guy is crazy with the guaranteed dodge. He could do some, well, at this point, I would say it's decent damage. Like the 15-20 mil guaranteed crit one shot, that's decent damage, right? It's not like a great damage anymore or anything, which is, again, kind of crazy to say, but that's how it is. But this guy still has 50% chance to dodge after that turn. He has pretty nice defenses as well. In terms of tanking normals, right? I think he'll be pretty solid. So, but again, this guy is locked behind him reviving specifically to exchange. So that's the only thing about that. Otherwise, this guy could have been a little higher, but I think 10 is a nice little spot for him right now. At number 9, I do have the Androids 17 and 18. Android 17 and 18, pretty good. Overall, they got a lot of help during the anniversary, and I like the rainbow orb changes that they have, even though there's a lot of rainbow orb changes like superheroes, representing number 7. Then rainbow orb changing will always be important. They're providing tons of support to tournament participants, so I mean, again, there's a lot of good tournament participants units right now. AHOUI Goku, Blue Evolution Vegeta, Blue Falcon Goku, and Evolution Vegeta, STRUI Goku, and even the Ruby Trio, they have some, like, you know, the giant form that's with them. I mean, Kale, eventually we'll get those buffs, I guess, right? We have 23rd World Tournament Goku, still a decent character. We have Ma Jr., still a nice character as well. So there's good options here. And again, like, you know, we have the even STR Blue Falcon and Goku, you can get it with them with the Spirit Bomb, STR Hit, STR Kaba. Like, there's some good characters here, and you can get a lot of use out of their support. You can throw them on the Beast Gohan team even, and, you know, as long as there's a Goku on the rotation, which, you know, you could have UI Goku in one rotation, and I don't know, some other Goku in the other rotation, Blue Falcon, Goku, and Evolution Vegeta, right? Then they'll be supporting those characters. You could have Blue Evolution Vegeta kind of running around, and then you can have this character protected by revives, or have them protected by, you know, Beast Gohan's target skill, right? Just similar to Gohan and Piccolo there, but I feel like they're going to be more consistent because they have at least the 35% reduction, and their defense, I'm not sure if their raw defense stat is going to be higher than them. Don't quote me on that, right? But because of the reduction, they're going to be tanking overall more consistently than the character, right? So that's why these guys are at 9 for me. Yep. Super Trunks. He's on this list at 8. I hate this character so much. I really do. I actually still don't like him, but I have to admit, like, he got buffed. Obviously, we know the new Super Saiyan Vegeta came out, but Android Cell Saga is a lot better. Even after that, just that Super Saiyan Vegeta. You know why? It's even just the Super Saiyan Vegeta, right? If you take a look at, like, characters this, you know, ever since Super Trunks came out, right, we got a couple of characters there. We were able to get the LR Future Gohan, and Future Gohan in certain events could still work out just fine, right? And not in, like, the Beast Gohan or the Gogeta Blue fight, but I think this Future Gohan could still work decently in a lot of these other fights, which is useful. Again, I think the big thing, again, is this new Tech Vegeta right here. This guy is, again, insane. He's on the list, no doubt about that, right? This guy's crazy. I mean, I've seen there's some situations where you can use the Tech Androids. I mean, in Cell Max, I've seen people, like, use the Tech Androids because they seal, you know, and, you know, if you consider, like, an Android Cell Saga with this character, he also seals, so, like, you're never going to get hit with the super. Age-Olar Gohan, in just certain situations, like, you know, he could work out. So, like, there are, like, characters here. And then, again, this guy's these days confirmed. We don't know what he's going to do. We do not know what this guy might do. But I feel like this guy's going to be good. Like, if we assume he's going to get an STR Kappa level EZA, you know, he's going to be crazy, right? He's going to be insane. I feel like if he does get an STR Kappa level EZA, this guy I'm a little shaky on because he doesn't have any defensive tech. But, I mean, what if he gets guard and 30% reduction, like Slot 1? And it's like, oh, well, it's kind of crazy in Slot 1, right? That's the thing I'm thinking about. So, especially if this guy's crazy, it's Super Trunks. I mean, on a lot of these different teams, right? You know, let's look at the team so you could get his transformation, I think, on. I think you can do that on the, again, Bottom Master Disciple team. You could easily do that on Vegeta's own Vegeta Family Super Saiyans team. You could do that his own Android Cell Saga team. Is there a transformation boost? Yeah, you could have is STR Super Vegeta on transformation boost? I actually don't remember his Android Cell Saga. Yeah, actually brought up this. Is he on transformation boost? He is not on transformation boost specified, but I think there's probably, like, a setup like Age-Olar Gohan, I guess you would run, right? But still, I feel like it's not as bad to get this, which, even then, he is still a little finicky. If he doesn't guard, it's not going to be that, like, helpful, but, like, his defense is at least reaching 700 case levels, so if he doesn't guard. He's not going to take a lot of these normals still, but you know, he's able to still be decent, especially if he does guard. He is able to work out. And you know, if you're floating this guy around, you have the active skill, which disables an action, which I find to be helpful, right? This action disable could be pretty cool. You have to be above 60% HP, but it's the third turn, and early on you're not really going to take a lot of damage, which is another good thing. Since events are longer now, events are not as hard as they used to be at the very beginning, so this guy is able to be a little safer in those situations. And again, I feel like the one fight I have an issue with him is the Gogeta fight, but like I think he could work well in the Beast Gohan fight. I think he works well in the Trunks fight. I used him in all three of those fights specifically. I feel like the movie bosses one, not really, to be honest. I think, you know, the Beerus fight, this guy could actually work out decently, and even though the first phase is int, right, he's able to get his build up, I think, pretty decently there. And there's a lot of fights I think that this Trunks is able to succeed in a little better post 9th anniversary, because again, they're not as hard as they used to be, just straight up. So Super Trunks, again, we all knew Super Trunks is crazy, right? Insane, stupid character. Guaranteed crits for the turn. I mean, consistently he could, if you're at like a good HP level, you could do like 13 to 14 to 15 mil, all guaranteed crits. I see that pretty consistently. The thing about him is that even though you want to be above 60% HP for the active skill, you have characters like STR Super Vegeta on like the new Vegeta team that could heal you, and then you could use the active skill, and then you could just, that's another attack, right? Where all attacks become critical hits for the turn, and it's a Ghost Usher, and it's just kind of crazy. In fact, let me. So I brought up some clips here. I mean, again, there's an example of Super Trunks where he's able to look really good. We use the active skill. Then you see right here, bam, he's able to just do these attacks right here, 14.8 mil. Then he does, after this, a 15.5 mil attack stat. Then after this, he does another 16.3 mil attack stat, all guaranteed crits, and he's just doing a lot of damage to Beast Gohan. Good for this fight, really, because again, Beast Gohan reduces damage from certain allies, right? And we were able to use active skill. His lock didn't affect me at all here. I couldn't put Vegeta in slot 1. I had to put this character there, but because of Super Trunks, we're able to get around that because we just simply Ghost Usher, and that's really interesting. Right here against Sword Hope Trunks, you see that super attack is right there in the front slot. It's like, you know, I would have to put Vegeta there or this Vegeta and get stuns, right? But then bam, I can get Super Trunks out. We could then heal with same type orbs, or in the Gogeta Blue actually as well, and then we just one turn him because Super Trunks, and we don't have to worry about attacks, right? Super Trunks does work well here. You're able to float him off as well. Ideally, you want to keep him on rotation at least once, probably though. But again, like in the Beast Gohan fight, the middle phase is AGL, so even if you don't guard, you'll be fine, right? I guess the only issue with this guy in the Trunks fight is that if he like does not guard or he's locked in slot 1, it could be a little bit issue in the STR phase. But as long as you're able to get past that, and he has a nullification there, which could be useful too, which could help avoid him raising his defense in the normal Super Saiyan Trunks, right? You know, this guy is just so good. And I think for these events, it's like having that Ghost Usher, like these bosses hit so hard now. This Ghost Usher is so massive, and that it gets more value. It gets even more value. But yeah, I think the only fight I don't really like him in is the Gogeta one or the movie one, because I think that's like that event is too long, because this guy eventually runs out of his stats even when transformed. And I think those events might be just too long for this guy, unless you could float him off the entire time, but then it's like you just have a character that can be sniped right here if he doesn't guard. There's issues with this Trunks still, which is why he's only 8, but I think he is 8, which is kind of funny. Alright, number 7, we have the first form Frieza. Again, I was considering moving him up a bit, but I think I'll keep him here. So we still want better Frieza allies, better Space Family Wars allies, but we do know that with Super EZAs, this guy is at least going to get the full power Frieza Super EZA like ally eventually, which could be very helpful. I think, you know, full power Frieza could be a nice little buff to this guy right there. But besides that, like, we don't really know. We're still waiting. I get the thing about this guy is that there's potential buffs. Like, STR Bojack is very close to getting an EZA. The Turles trio, very close to getting an easy A, right? So that could be, so I mean, I guess King Vegeta is a Space Traveling Warriors ally, which is kind of funny. I wish this new Vegeta, the tech one, was on Space Traveling Warriors. That would have been cool, but there are potential buffs that could really happen for this team this year, and I think Frieza, like Namek Frieza, is very possible to get a character. So while it's not there yet, I'm not going to put him higher because of what could potentially happen. I think that this guy has a chance to get a lot better, so that's a good thing. And there's a couple Pure Saiyans enemies here, so that could be useful for him. And he just does. I mean, I talked about it last time, but I like the Great Lowering Attack, right? He just does really, really good damage. Has pretty, I would say, decent defenses. Able to reach like 2 mil range or so, which, obviously by far more than enough to tank every normal in the game. Can't live every super in the game, but he could live at least a lot of supers even then. And the Great Lowering Attack could help in certain events for him to live the super attack. So I also like the active skill, disabling the action within the turn. And that's like something you save for the end of the fight, right? So with that, you could just disable an enemy's super attack, which is really cool. So yeah, that's why I have this Frieza there at 7. I think Frieza overall through the fight is probably going to be more useful than Super Trunks. I wouldn't say probably, he will be more useful than Super Trunks. I would say there's a gap between 7 and 8. There's like a little gap in between here. But that's that. At number 5, number 6, I mean, I do have the Enter 21. 21's good. I talked about her last time. I like her. Super Explode Boo. She has a lot of healing in the kit right here. I do like the 5% recovery, 30% recovery here. She has another 21% recovery if you end the turn under 60% HP, which again will be very, very useful here. I wish this was when receiving an attack. I really do, but other than that, I like her even with the 21% reduction. It makes her very nice because she's able to reach like 1.5 mil defense plus, right, in certain turns. Like her defense gets kind of crazy high once she has her full passive up. She again has nullification of an enemy action once within her turn, which is really, really good. There's not really as many AoEs at all, like at the beginning of fights, in the most harder fights. So this character getting the dodge after she attacks, not a big deal. You're just not going to run her in Salt 1. So that's cool. I think 21's good. She has a nice leader skill too. I wouldn't say it's crazy, but it's a decent leader skill at the very least, right? So that's that. Number 5, I have Physical God Goku. And I'm going a little quicker with these ones because in my last video I did already really talk about them for the most part. But I mean, God Goku is just stacking character with 60% dodge with guard, and he's a Saiyan with amazing links, with so many different teams, great leader skill. A little reliant on these 6 orbs, but there's so many rainbow orb changers I think in the game now just running around. It's not difficult to get 6 orbs in a lot of his teams. So that's cool. I guess the one thing is that you could have situations where his intro runs out, and like on this new Vegeta team you can't really get the intro on, but it's like very nitpicky. Besides that, this guy is still able to be really, really nice. So big fan of him, and you're not really gonna ever transfer him to Super Saiyan Goku anyway, so not really a big deal. His pure stats, even with the guard though, if he takes an attack or super, he probably could get one shot even after stacking for quite some time. But besides that, he's still able to be fine, and he has the 60% dodge at the very least. Very, very useful. At number 4, I have Gamma 1. I talked about this last time, but I think Gamma 1 is just overall going to be more consistent with his new equips, with the new LR Gammas. He's supporting. He has this great chance to nullify unarmed supers, which is like the Beast Gohan fight, for example. This guy's actually one of the best units for the Beast Gohan fight, funny enough. Even his leader skill is decent still, I would say, nothing crazy, but you probably wouldn't run him as a leader, I would say. But decent leader skill at least. Guard, plus he could build up to 50% reduction. I think building up could be a little scary for him in certain fights, Cell Max is going to be an issue, but other than that, this guy's able to give me really good. Once he's fully built up next to the LR Gammas, this guy looks kind of crazy. I don't know, maybe God Goku I could put above him, but I think these two neck and neck actually, which is kind of crazy that Gamma 1 he got a huge buff during the anniversary because he got a really good partner that can activate all these links. Gamma 2 is still decent, I guess, but you're not really going to be running Gamma 2 unless you have to. But yeah, Gamma 1 is right there. So now we get to our top 3. Number 3 is Hirudegarn, and I'll just fill in the rest at this point. So we have Hirudegarn, we have Super Saiyan 3 Goku, and then number 1, obviously, the Tech transforming Vegeta. Hirudegarn, mega dodge unit, right? 70% dodge chance, stacking defense, really nice multiplicative stats, right? I guess the only issue is that, you know, if he takes an attack and he just takes a lot of damage, it probably dies, right? But pretty decent transformation conditions, 3rd turn under 70% or 6th turn, very easy to get. And then perfect form Hirudegarn, it's kind of cracked. Can do 4 super attacks with like 14 to 15, 16 mil range, right? He has a high chance to crit his first attack on the turn, plus extra stats, 70% dodge chance. And then on top of that, once he gets 3 dodges, the next turn he guaranteed dodges, right? Which is crazy. That does not like loop, unfortunately, but it is still a really good ability where he can get guaranteed dodge, which is insanely powerful. Super Saiyan 3 Goku, he's good, 70% dodge chance, decent defenses, nothing really too crazy anymore, but like decent defenses, I would say. And at least he has a 70% chance to dodge. Decent offense. It's really the standby skill plus his links and everything that I think makes me put him above Hirudegarn. I think being able to just have the scouter and just like take 0 damage from any super attack in the game, plus supporting, is just too good of an ability for this guy not to be 2. And again, he's a Saiyan character. Best movie heroes, final trump card leader as well. So there is that. And the none. Not none. What? 1. We have Vegeta. And that is number 1 here. So I think Vegeta is like comfortably better than any other of these TURs. Yeah, I would say he's comfortably better. Vegeta is like there'd be a gap. And I mean, great leader skill, I think, on JP. I'm talking about a JP perspective, but great leader skill. Even on global, leader skill is pretty decent. Very easy to stack up with this guy. I think early on this would be nice, and right now this is fine because you're going to be running this guy, I think, a lot of times in slot 1, so he's going to get most of his buffs. I will say, I've seen a lot of people being like, oh, this guy's the new Tech Ultimate Gohan. That's not the case, I think, because of this especially, and because of how like far ahead the game has pushed with power creep. When Tech Gohan came out, they weren't really like pushing power creep like that. They didn't really start really pushing power creep as big as they did until the 7th anniversary. 7th anniversary changed everything. Well, there was like some power creep with the God even and everything like that. It wasn't to the point where the entire game was reset or anything. But when the game reset, Tech Gohan still survived, right? And from there, that's when they really started really pushing these bosses to be super mega difficult, especially because you can take any unit in there, right? And Extreme Super Battle, right, it's very, very difficult still too, right? But I think you guys get the point where it's just a different era of Dokkan as well, where this guy's just not going to survive as long. They're not going to make these units survive as long as Tech Gohan did, right? And that's how it's going to be, I think, for the most part. Except Beast. I think Beast is probably the closest character to that, but this could be a little issue when he's aging. Like, imagine this guy in slot 2 or 3, then your slot 1 takes like 300, 400k, then it loses like over half of this. And then it's like his defense at full eventually is like you're gonna need the full defense. And then eventually he will lose this, and then he'll take a lot of damage turn 1. And then, you know, he has to build this up as well. And he has to stack up a couple of times. And if you're floating this guy around, he's not going to stack up a lot. And you guys get the point with that. But yeah, right now it's really good. And he has the guard plus the 18% reduction. Crazy ability, guaranteed super for the first 3 turns. He has another super where there's a Goku, which is not really too hard to get off on the Super Saiyans / Super Saiyan team. Vegeta's family doesn't really have Gokus, right? Easy transformation condition. Transformed, this guy is just, he's able to live any super in the game very comfortably. Once you get them transformed, get him a couple stacks in base form. Active skill is pretty good, right? You can get this active skill off very easily. Under 80% HP enemy, that's one enemy specifically, or after he receives 3 attacks. He becomes guaranteed crits during that active skill turn. He has a disable enemy action and guaranteed super once after he receives an attack. Then he again has 80% reduction plus the guard. This is very easy to achieve. I feel like being above 30% HP when attacking. We'll get him another 70% super attack chance. This is nice. I think this is cool. This is always going to be consistent, and it works like fusions and moss too. So if he's like at 400k defense start of turn, then you get that 180% buff. Keep in mind that is a pure buff. So let's say, for example, he's at 450k defense start of turn, then you get the 180% defense. That shoots him up to 1.2 mil defense before he even supers. So it's a very insane buff. It's a very insane buff, this 180% defense. And I think people, that plus the 18% reduction on the guard, it's just crazy. It's a crazy tanking ability this Vegeta is able to do. And even seals. So like that could be useful against Cell Max, for example, right? This guy's good everywhere. I guess Cell Max could be the one place where he's a little finicky, because early on he could have issues tanking these attacks. That's where this comes into play, where you can see this especially. But once you get this, I mean, once you're able to seal this guy or get him transformed, it becomes a lot easier. So like he once he's Super Saiyan Vegeta especially, he just like, some Max can't do anything to him. Even base Vegeta, like with this seal, once you're able to get turn 4, Cell Max can't do anything with this guy on the team. If you're running double Vegeta, like he actually can't do anything. He's auto resistant, and then Cell Max gets like, you know, lower HP. You're doing more damage. So that's that. But like, it's actually insane how good Vegeta is. Vegeta is like a top 10 worthy character in the game, even. And I wouldn't say that for any of these other characters. So that is my list. Poor 23rd World Tournament characters, they don't really fit anymore. Tier list, I just put them there for funny. Vegeta does not fit either. Heroes is like not really that great anymore, so that sucks for Heroes. But let me know what you guys think, where you would put Vegeta on this tier list, where you'd put these other characters. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you guys next time.